Welcome viewers to another fabulous episode of Unapologetically Free. Now today I'm going to talk about how NoFap changes you even if you relapse. Now, first off, the first lesson is that you will realize that your pornography consumption is an addiction. Now, following all different kinds of addiction, and addiction is something that changes the biochemistry of your brain, even physically. So it's not about being weak-willed or lacking self-control. It means that you have thoroughly damaged your brain circuitry, and healing is now in order. That you need to start to normalize your brain when you experience and know that something is an addiction. Now, it may seem surprising, but my belief is that many men out there don't believe that they are addicted to pornography. Now, a huge part of this is due to what I call rationalization, where they will explain off something, they will explain off why they do certain things, they will explain off why they watch pornography, even if those reasons are ridiculous. For example, they will say, oh, I watch pornography because everyone watches pornography and every man has an urge, a man has his urges, certain things like that. But if you challenge a person and say, hey, you may be addicted, he will say, oh, but it's just a normal human need. Everyone needs this, everyone needs to do it. Certain things like that. So they refuse to allow themselves this idea of facing truth face to face. And in my own experience, when I went on NoFap, or when I challenged my friends around me to go on NoFap, it's usually very simple. I'll tell them, I bet you $50 that you cannot go 30 days without fapping. And most of the time, they will not succeed NoFap on first try because they don't realize how strong the grip of pornography is on a person. Lesson number 2, you will start to realize the power of physiology. Physiology as in the way you feel physically as caused by your physical biochemistry, which means it is not simply in the mind per se, but that your hormonal levels, your stress level, even your body language, and the nutrients in your body actually have a direct bearing on your well-being. Now, I used to believe erroneously that everything is in the mind. But NoFap made me realize that it is more the hardware of the human being, the nutrients, or more specific to NoFap, the brain, or what is frequently known as the dopamine receptors. Those are so crucial. And if someone, for example, is undergoing depression, it may not be that person's fault, but rather the issue is with a damaged hardware. And when I can view myself this way, I stop blaming myself for certain things because I realize that, hey, it could be an addiction, there may be issues with my hardware, and therefore the focus would then be on fixing these physiological issues, such as perhaps even your body language, rather than blaming yourself and thinking that, oh, you are stupid, you are not confident, but rather when you know the true source, for example, of confidence, that it comes from getting rid of this addiction to pornography, you will stop identifying yourself as a loser But instead, you will start realizing that feelings of anxiety is actually a byproduct of your constant consumption of pornography. Now, I used to read certain books like Think and Grow Rich, and I thought it was all about the willpower, the visualization, and etc. Now, those things are good, even great, but I believe that even if I feel motivated after goal setting, it is also reflected in my body in terms of a change in my biochemistry. NoFap directly affects your physiology, and the one thing that I always ask myself when I'm on NoFap or as I moved on to other physical improvement endeavors is this question: how would it be like if my body is in such a great state that it is impossible for me to feel negative or even think negative thoughts? What kind of efforts must I put in order to put my body in that kind of state? And every time I imagine or try and visualize and get an answer to that question, it often gets me excited because NoFap has shown me that just simply 30 days of stopping and quitting pornography and all the other stimulation causes such a huge shift in the way I view things, even though my thoughts and my habits and even my ability would definitely not have changed so much in 30 days. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about, you become more self-aware. You become more self-aware. Now, with the counting of days, for example, today is day 37, I will become more self-aware, and this spills over positively to other aspects of my life: diet, sleep, supplements. I would often ask myself this question throughout the day: how did X make me feel? How did this make me feel? How did that make me feel? For example, this is day 7 of NoFap. How do I feel today? Now, this self-awareness allows yourself to know yourself. And to me, no one else can give you a better answer about yourself other than yourself. And make self-experimentation a habit of yours, and you will go far. Because what works for a person may not fully and exactly work for you. Now, I believe a lot in principles, and I believe that most principles, if not all principles, works on everyone. But we do have genetic differences and the reactions we have to different things. For example, a diet would have to be weighed by you through your own self-experiment. So in the same way, go on NoFap. That is the principle. You will feel more energy, but experiment, and use your own experience as your guide. Now, I hope you like this video. If you do, like it, comment, subscribe, share this video, and I'll see you again.